Whew. We're live. Just wanted to go live. Talk about the Jake Paul, Mike Tyson fight. It's gonna come up on Netflix this evening. I figured, you know what? Let me just let me talk about it. I didn't want to do a whole video on it and do a whole thing. If I go live and if anybody catches it, you could throw your thoughts in there in the comments in the chat. I'm developing this whole thing with the chats. I'm getting these things from YouTube. Like I can now have super chat things and badges and whatever. I guess I've earned a few things, whatever it is, but pretty excited about that. I appreciate that. So if anyone joins me on this chat, that'll be nice. If you don't catch it, the live version, then you'll see this later in replay. But I wanted to talk about this because this is big news. The most anticipated fight in a long time. It's all hype, right? Isn't it? Isn't it all hype? My memories of Tyson are totally like, I guess the younger generation is looking at this fight, right? Like there's no question that this is a YouTubers and younger generation with the Gen X, whatever it is, versus Gen Z or whatever, versus the older school, right? Especially people who come from the Tyson era, right? The Tyson that I knew, that brute force, that dude, like that Tyson is what, that's where it is for me. And for fight fans, right? You've got, this is going to be boxers, people who are into the sport of boxing versus YouTubers, like YouTube followers and stars. He's got a whole fan base. Yeah, Jake Paul has built an established fan base, and he got into boxing, was it 4 or 5 years ago, whatever it is, and he's been fighting people, but he hasn't really trained as a boxer for an extended period of time as a serious sport and hasn't fought any real boxers, right? He's fought some athletes. He's fought a couple of MMA stars, I believe, but like he hasn't had toe-to-toe experience with heavyweights and like people like serious boxers. That hasn't happened. So this is kind of in itself a spectacle, a joke, right? This is just all for the money, the way I see it. It's I'm watching the Netflix did like a series like leading up to the actual fight tonight. And I'm looking, when they introduced Jake Paul, it's like, oh, I did ayahuasca and saw myself fighting Mike Tyson. Just on that alone, just on the way it's all set up. Yeah, I'm a rich guy who just decided I wanted to box. I wanted to fight, find my inner peace. It's a joke, right? And you think about it, YouTube star, someone of that magnitude, someone who's reached that level of success and fame, it's all based on what? Influence. It's all based on hype. That's what it's all based on. And I would not be surprised. The whole thing is nothing more than that. I mean, think about it. If you're Jake Paul, right? You can literally be like, I'll fight it. Yeah, I'll fight Mike. Yeah, it's a joke because whether you lose or win, it's a big difference. He's making like $40 million. He doesn't care if he gets knocked out. What is a knockout? I'd get in the ring for $40 million. Put me in the ring with Mike Tyson. I'll do it. You know what I mean? If it could happen, it's not gonna happen. I'm a nobody, right? But I'm just saying, if somewhere out of nowhere they were like somehow they gave me a chance, like Rocky, some unknown, and I was going to get $40 million for doing it, let him knock me out. Whatever happens, happens. I'm going to go hard. I'm going to train for whatever period of time I can train, try to find somebody to help me out. And I'm going to get in the ring and get my ass kicked. And that's $40 million plus a huge amount of hype for my channel, for my reputation, for my brand. And he's really not going to lose anything. If he gets his ass kicked, the people who want to see him get his ass kicked anyway are just going to be satisfied. The people who don't want to see him get his ass kicked, his followers, the youth, the people who want to see him kick the old man's ass, right? Even if he loses, they're still going to stick with him. He's not going to lose anything. He's still going to go home to his mansion and his money and he's going to do his thing. I'm not going to judge the man for being a hustler, for being a businessman. I think it does bring a certain amount of it does bring the sport down a little bit. Like I'd like to see a real fight, like some really good fights. I haven't seen a good heavyweight fight in a long time. So this is what it is. It's an influencer. This generation sort of hyped up thing is what it is and what it's going to be. Now, with all that said, here's the way I see it. I would love to see Tyson knock this guy out. I do not know enough about him to hate on him. I understand he's got a reputation and he can be obnoxious and arrogant. It's his brand. I don't know if that's his brand persona or how he is in real life. I do not know enough about him to make that judgment call, and I don't care to judge the man. I don't knock the hustle. I don't knock the hustle. That's his thing. What I would like to see, though, is Tyson, because Tyson goes back, for me, like I said, back in the day. We used to watch Tyson fights and watch him knock people out in a few seconds or a few minutes. It was over, and we go to the club in New York. And Tyson was the greatest of our time back then. The 80s, 90s, like for us, that was Tyson was the man. And the ferocity and the strength, the power. I don't think Jake Paul can handle it if Tyson hits him. If Tyson hits him, it's over as far as I'm concerned. That's the way I see it. Even at 58 years old. Because what it comes down to with Tyson is, I hate to say it, I don't be cliche, but it is the eye of the tiger. Or whatever animal you want to pick. Because his inner strength, his physical strength, his raw brute strength, not something you get from working out, not something you get from training. There's a brute inner strength, and then the brute mental strength that comes with that. His mindset is that of like someone that's not here. Tyson's always been like that. From the moment he did the stare down coming into the ring, I was telling my son just the other night what an event a Tyson fight was back in the day. Tyson would come in with a black towel with a hole cut it and just throw the towel over him and get in the ring and just look at people and wouldn't say a word, wouldn't smile, and his eyes just watched him going back and forth, back and forth. He would just look at people. He was killing people before the bell even rang. He was in their head, and his head was somewhere deep in the depths of hell, rising up and just burning to be unleashed. Burning to be unleashed. That's who Tyson is. That's who Mike Tyson is. It's in his head. Jake Paul is a kid who got money and fame and wants to box. Big difference. The backgrounds are different. This is a huge thing because there's so many things happening here as far as like age versus youth, black versus white, poor versus rich. Now, I mean, Tyson's not poor now, but the origin story of Tyson is totally different than Jake Paul. Totally different. The privilege, the way things work. This is going to be a spectacle. I would love to think it's going to be really serious and whatever. I mean, these are only 2-minute rounds, and I think it's 8-round fight or something like that. So we'll see what happens if Tyson can hold up, if Tyson can last. My boy Peter Attia was talking about it earlier about your short twitch muscle fibers and anaerobic versus aerobic, and boxing is an anaerobic sport, not an aerobic sport, and whether or not Tyson can actually last at 58 years old, you lose a lot of that stuff. And I don't know. I think it's going to come down to the mental fortitude and that natural brute strength that Tyson has. And I think it's going to come down to the lack of experience fighting real fighters for Jake Paul. And with all that said, I think the whole thing's a joke anyway. The whole thing could just be, it's a whole setup. Tyson's getting $20 million. Jake Paul's getting $40 million, which to me seems a little, at 58 years old, Mike Tyson is still Mike Tyson. He's still a brand to be recognized. He's 58. He might be technically over the hill, people might say, but he's 58 years old and he's still Mike Tyson, a successful businessman, right? And an icon in the sport, a living icon, a legend. To me, he should be getting $40 million for even entertaining this clown. I shouldn't call him a clown. Like I said, I don't know Jake Paul, so what am I gonna say, right? I don't know him well enough. Maybe I'll check out his videos and see what all the hype is before I watch the fight. Then I can decide whether I hate the guy and really want to see him get knocked out, or maybe he turns out to be, a cool dude, and I'll decide like, oh, hey, maybe he's gonna win. It's not gonna happen for him. I don't think he's gonna win. I wanted to weigh in on that. I wanted to come on here really quick and do it live and just talk and say, what's up. If anybody catches this, like I said, if you catch it in replay, let me know your thoughts in the comments. Let me know who you think's gonna win this. Who you think's gonna win this? And also, when you tell me who you think's gonna win this in the comments, if you don't mind, just put your age. Put an age range, or put whatever generation you're with, because I am curious to see those stats. I want to see how that whole thing plays out. I am curious. Anyway, I'm gonna end this, but looking forward to the fight. And maybe I'll do a follow-up or something like that. I usually don't cover sports and stuff like that, but since this is a big event and I do cover, politics and trending topics and such, I figured I would get on here and talk about it. So that's it. Time to Talk Podcast. If you've not subscribed, make sure you subscribe to the channel and follow and do all that good stuff. And if you like the video, this live, hit the like in there when you actually see this. And do not forget in the comments, let me know who you think's got this fight and how it's going to play out. And let me know your age or the generation you're in, whatever. And I'll see you on the next Time to Talk Podcast. Peace, all right?